Alright, so welcome to Let's Talk Television, Season 3, Episode 8. We are here for a huge news week this week, guys. Crazy stuff. A lot of stuff that is, personally very interesting. We got Walking Dead and Breaking Bad, my two favorite shows ever, right? And so, huge news about both of those shows today. So just a lot of stuff to talk about in today's episode. So a lot of news. I had to pick and choose actually this week's news because there's just so much of it. Right, and so if I don't get to everything, I know there's some news about a Star Wars series, I think, or something like that, or a Star Trek stuff. There's some big news about that, but again, I'm gonna usually go towards stuff that I'm interested in, that I know about, so that I can discuss it a little bit more. And that's the whole point of this show, right? Is to discuss this news, and I can't really discuss something if I don't know a lot about it. So for that reason, that is why I kind of chose the things I chose for today's episode. But like I said, today's episode, I mean, these are all really interesting things and some really big news for a lot of stuff going forward in the future. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining me for Let's Talk Television for this week. Thank you for those of you who are tuning in live right now. And thank you for those of you who are tuning in afterwards. I still appreciate it a lot. So anyways, guys, the spotlight for this week's episode of Let's Talk Television is Breaking Bad movie in development. So of course we'll be talking about that. We'll start the show off here with that. Then we'll go into some other news. Just keep in mind I do post all the news topics that I will be discussing in the description before the episode is live, about an hour or two before, so you can kind of go in there and you know what I'm talking about a little bit, and then hopefully we can get some discussion going. Share your thoughts, comments, questions, whatever you have in the live chat during the episode, or if you're watching afterwards, leave them in the comments. If you leave a question, I will use that then in next week's episode, and I'll definitely answer that for you in that episode at the end of the episode. So anyways, guys, I think without further ado, let's just jump in, because this one might be the longest episode so far, because there's so much to talk about, so much to break down here with all of this news. It's pretty crazy. So all right, so we're looking all good here with this stream and everything like that. Okay, so let's get into Let's Talk Television this week, and of course, like I said, we begin with the spotlight. Breaking Bad movie in development. So, couple sources for this one, because this story was kind of an ongoing one this week. I believe it was released Tuesday night. And I gotta shout out my buddy Shane St. Laurent. Sorry, man. Shane St. Laurent, who hit me up on Twitter, and he was like, "Have you heard about the Breaking Bad movie?" And I hadn't at this point. And then he pointed me towards an article and all that. And this was like a couple hours before the story really broke. I believe it was the Hollywood Reporter then that put out that kind of exclusive article that really sparked everyone. So anyways, got to shout him out because he was the reason I heard about this one so early. But anyways, some really crazy news. But that article, even the Hollywood Reporter article, came out. But then it was not until the next day that the Slash Film article came out, confirming what the movie was going to be about and what the focus was and everything like that. So this story was a little bit of a twofold, release of this news. And I'm just so happy that we got this week. And I'll be talking about it here. So anyways, there's two sources for this one. The first article I saw was Screen Rant, but I know it ended up that it was basically the Hollywood Reporter article that everyone looked at, and then also the Slash Film article, which of course had the exclusive release of the of more information about the movie. So anyways, crazy news here for the Breaking Bad universe, Breaking Bad fans. This is insane news. So I'm going to read a little bit from the Screen Rant article here, and then a little bit from the Slash Film article. Quite a bit to read here, so I do apologize. But when we're done reading this little excerpt, I feel like it's really important. So that's why I'm reading it, and then we'll discuss. So let's get into it. So a surprise Breaking Bad movie is coming through the pipeline and reportedly starts filming later this fall. Better Call Saul was renewed for a 5th season at AMC, but as it inches closer and closer to the events of Breaking Bad, it's apparent that the spin-off has a limited shelf life. There's a distinct possibility the next season of Saul is the last, which again, it could be. We're really not sure right now. Which would leave quite a void in AMC's current programming. However, they apparently have something major in the works that'll ensure they don't have to say goodbye to Gilligan's Albuquerque just yet. According to the Albuquerque Journal, so I think this is where it was leaked originally, was the Albuquerque Journal. A film going by the working title Greenbrier, which is a Sony production, is in fact a secret Breaking Bad movie. Principal photography will start in New Mexico later this month and run until February 2019. AMC recently announced plans to expand their Walking Dead franchise with a trilogy of TV movies, which I'll talk about in just a few minutes. So it isn't far-fetched to imagine they'd like to do something similar with Breaking Bad. So now this is the Slash Film article. Slash Film has learned that the newly announced Breaking Bad movie will be a sequel set after the events of the series finale, following Jesse as he blazes a trail away from that horrifying finale. We have also learned that series creator Vince Gilligan is writing and executive producing the Breaking Bad movie, although it is unknown if he will also direct the movie. No official title or release date has been set for the Breaking Bad movie just yet. So that concludes some of kind of the excerpts from both of these articles. Unfortunately, I will not be linking these in the description, but if you want to go out there, I suggest the Hollywood Reporter article. It's a little bit more detailed, but the Hollywood Reporter article and Slash Film article, a lot more stuff in these articles to read about. So if you're interested, please go and do that. But just from this stuff, this is insane. Absolutely insane, this stuff. So they did report that the working title is Greenbrier, but it seems to be that one is maybe even just, kind of to troll people, to kind of throw people off the path of Breaking Bad. So obviously that's probably not what the movie is actually going to be called or actually going to be titled, but that is kind of what they're working under right now. So anyways, it's insane. It's honestly insane, this news. And I do really want to point out, I think something is really important here. I pointed this out when Shane sent me a thing, and I said, no way, right? No way. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys now a post from, I believe it was June, maybe May of 2018. So this is going back, well, October, September, August, July, June. So at least 6 months ago, 6 and a bit months ago, when Aaron Paul posted an Instagram picture. Now, this sparked a lot of discussion in Let's Talk Television Season 1, Episode 12, way back when, and I talked about this. I said, Aaron Paul just posted this picture. What does this mean? So, here is the picture that he posted in May. This is the picture that he posted. So, this is his Instagram, glass of whiskey, Aaron Paul, and he posts a picture of him at AMC Networks, and he says, "Good morning, old friend." Of course, at the time, this was crazy. Everyone was kind of going crazy, going insane about this, speculating, what does this mean? Why is he back at AMC? Because he hasn't had anything since Breaking Bad with AMC. He hasn't had any reason to negotiate, communicate with them. So, this is the picture that he posted, right, in May. And now we know the news that this movie is going to center around him and his journey after the series finale. It all makes sense now. It comes full circle that this picture was posted because he was probably talking about doing this movie. So, anyways, I just want to point that out. I think it's really cool, and I think it's really something to then now go back and reflect on that video that I made and see how much of it has come true. A lot of the stuff I said in that video is literally what's happening right now. So, anyways, gotta give myself some credit there. But, enough bragging for now. What will this movie entail? Obviously, we know it's following Jesse as he leaves for that series finale. And to me, the series finale of Breaking Bad was the best series finale and probably will be the best series finale ever made on television. They literally tied up every single storyline except Jesse's. And I think obviously that was purposely done, right? Vince Gilligan, he knew that Jesse's story, they were going to leave it open, right? That was a purposeful thing that they did. And now it's turning out that that story will even be wrapped up within a 2-hour long movie. So really, really crazy stuff here. Again, can't praise the series finale enough, and to see what Jesse is now going to do after that insane finale, after he kills Todd, he passes on killing Walter, and he drives away. Some think he's, crying. He's, just, it's such a, you really feel for him, right? It's such an odd feeling that he feels, because he's really happy, but he's also so sad looking back at what he just came from, and he's finally free from this world, right? So a very mixed feeling there, and to finally explore that scene, and maybe even pick up from that scene. I mean, it's possible, right? It's possible. So, this is insane. And, that series finale was in 2000, believe it was in 2013. I believe so. So that happened in 2013, and now they're coming back with a movie that's probably going to premiere in 2019. That's insane, and I'm thinking probably fall 2019 or maybe winter of probably just around this time 2019 next year, because the principal photography ends in February next year, and so that would give them about 9 to 10 months, right, to kind of get this going. And keep in mind, it is a TV movie, so there won't be a lot of the promotion stuff that a theater kind of production movie would have. It's not going to be up to the same standard, but it is going to be a feature film length, right? Don't get me wrong, it is. But it looks like it will be premiering on AMC on the channel, so it's not like it'll be in theaters. But this is insane, and a lot of people are not happy with this. Okay, so let's talk about that. So a lot of people, and some people I've talked to, some of my friends who have also seen Breaking Bad, love the series. Like, I don't know if I mentioned this, but my favorite series ever on television. And a lot of people are unhappy with this because they think, don't touch it, right? Don't touch this series. It was so good. Now you're going to ruin it, right? But then I love it because you see these people saying this, right? And then the same people are then saying, but Vince Gilligan is doing it, so I guess I'll check it out, right? Like, I love it. So Vince Gilligan has that reputation. He could do anything, honestly. He could do anything, and people would watch it. He's an insane writer, just a creative mind. He really is. Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. Even though a lot of people don't know, but he really did not do much, I guess, on season 4 of Better Call Saul. It was really Peter Gould's show. He really kind of gave the reins to Peter Gould in season 4. But anyways, I'm guessing because he's been writing this damn screenplay or this script now for the movie, so that's probably why. But anyways, a lot of people are unhappy with it. I'm happy with it. I'm perfectly fine with this. Yes, I loved the series finale, and I thought it was one of the best. But to do a movie like this, now, I would agree. I have to say, I would agree with you if this was the announcement of a spin-off series with Jesse. I might agree with you. I might see your point, because that's really kind of defeating the whole purpose of that finale and leaving it open and leaving kind of Jesse's story to the audience to interpret, right? Because now we're just seeing a series with at least probably 10 episodes per season. Let's say they do multiple seasons. Well, now it's just a whole another thing, and that series finale, leaving that ending open-ended for Jesse, it really was not at all, right? It really was not at all. But with this being a 2-hour movie, I think this is perfect. I think it's the best of both worlds. I think it's, saying, okay, we did leave it open purposely, and we do have some ideas in mind for his story, but we're not going to stretch it out over, 10 hours of television, right? We're just going to do a 2-hour movie exploring this and kind of tying it up completely. And I don't even think it will necessarily tie it up completely. I think it's going to be another kind of ending, because I don't think he's going to die in this movie, maybe, but I don't think he's going to die. So I think it's going to be more similar to the actual ending of the series finale for Jesse than him, dying and the story actually concluding. Because also, if he dies, I mean, if they do some more who knows how many spin-offs and what spin-offs they're going to do, right? And so they do spin-offs after the series that take place after the show. If he dies in this movie, then he's not going to be able to appear in those and all that stuff, right? So, anyways, I don't know. I really am fine with this idea. I don't think it diminishes that series finale. And again, I mean, people aren't going to think like, oh, Breaking Bad had 5 seasons. Well, this is like, you know, and they're going to think of this as season 6. Like, no, these are separate properties, right? People can watch, and that's the thing too, like, if this movie, for some odd reason, which I don't think is possible with Vince Gilligan at the helm, but if it ends up being bad, right, people don't like it, there is still, like, it's still separate from the show, you know? They're not saying, oh, well, we're doing a season 6 of Breaking Bad. That's not what this is, right? It's a separate little spin-off of a 2-hour movie. And I think even if it does bad, it really does not diminish Breaking Bad, because I think Breaking Bad ultimately stands alone with its 5 seasons complete, and this is kind of just an addition. That's the way I see it. So, anyways, I'm really looking forward to this, and I think it's going to be great. I just don't agree with that kind of hate that a lot of people are giving it, but I do agree with those same people who are saying, oh, Vince Gilligan's doing it, so I'll check it out. But, and honestly, I mean, you know, let's say someone else was trying to do this. Maybe it would not succeed. Maybe not a lot of people would see it, but Vince Gilligan, man, anything with his name, I'm going to check it out. I'm telling you that right now, and a lot of people are like that after seeing Breaking Bad and now Better Call Saul. So, anyways, some crazy news. I didn't think we would hear this when I did that video back in May or June. I think it was June 10th or something like that. When I did that video back in June, I was kind of like, I was speculating. I was just throwing around predictions. I didn't think this was actually going to happen. And now we get this news, so it's crazy. And honestly, it seems like AMC really didn't want this out. Like, this Albuquerque Journal, I think, really kind of scumbagged them a little bit. Like, I really don't think they wanted this out because they're already beginning filming this month, and we've never heard of an announcement or that Vince Gill was working on a script or anything. And so I think they really kind of got scumbagged here, and they really didn't want this to get out, but now it's out. So, anyways, I feel like AMC is going to embrace it. I definitely can see some advertising, some marketing coming, even just in maybe January or February of this new year, and AMC kind of embracing it because they have to now, and getting some advertising, getting some feelers out for this movie. So, anyways, my prediction is we'll see it in winter 2019, or, well, fall might be a push, but it is a TV movie. So, again, a lot of people are overthinking this, right? This is not, I don't think it's going to be in theaters, right? It's going to be an AMC movie. There might even be commercials kind of in between the movie. I really don't know. So, it might be kind of like a 3-hour runtime, but only like a 2-hour and maybe 15-minute or a 2-hour even, well, no, probably a 2-hour, 15-minute, you know, runtime with 45 minutes of commercials in there, right? Like, we don't really know, but a lot of people are overthinking it, right? It is a TV movie ultimately, and I think it's more similar to a 2-hour episode of television than a actual, like, movie that's going to premiere in theaters. So, anyways, guys, let me know what your thoughts of this are. Do you agree? No, leave Breaking Bad alone. Do not touch it. This is a bad idea. Or are you like me and saying, well, these two things are separate, and I'm totally down to see this movie with Jesse. And, of course, there's a lot of, you know, viewpoints in between those two. So, anyways, let me know what you think of this news. Ultimately, I think I'm really excited for it. When it gets closer to, I think I'll definitely speculate more on what we could see in this movie. But you know, I think we already have a really good picture of it, as it's going to follow the events after he blazes away. And my prediction is we may actually resume right in that car with Jesse. That might just be how it starts. So we'll see what Vince Gilligan has up his sleeve for us in this one. I'm so stoked for this. Let me know what you think. Alright, so now on to the next news topic, and this one was actually, it came out, you know, Sunday night, but of course that still, you know, kind of goes in with this week, but it's old news right now, right? You know, 2 or 3 days old, that's old news. But anyways, I thought I'd mention it just because, right, it's huge news for, you know, TV and for me as a Walking Dead fan, so, you know, I thought I had to mention it. Alright, so this one, Andrew Lincoln to lead 3 Walking Dead movies. So this one's from the Hollywood Reporter. This one was an exclusive, so I suggest you go on here, check this one out. They did a in-depth with Scott Gimple, or an in-depth interview, with Scott Gimple. You know, a lot of people hate Scott Gimple. But again, I gave him a lot of praise in this recent episode review, because he co-wrote this last episode, guys, and this may have been the best episode of The Walking Dead ever. So he deserves some credit for that, but he also deserves a lot of hate for the other things he's done, especially with Carl. So, anyways, let's get into this one, and then we'll kind of discuss and give our thoughts. So, the actor who officially departed the flagship series Sunday will reprise his role as Rick Grimes in a trio of big-budget, feature-length movies that will air on the basic cable network. So, of course, they're talking about Andrew Lincoln. Scott Gimple says there is more story to tell and will be telling it. Really great stuff there. Gimple is currently writing the first of the untitled series of telepics, with production set to begin in 2019. Still to be determined is an air date and where the movies will film, as Lincoln departed The Walking Dead in order to spend more time with his family in England. The trio of movies are the first of multiple new scripted ventures that will come from Gimple as AMC kicks off its long-term plan to grow its multi-billion-dollar franchise. People kind of forget that sometimes, but yeah, they definitely have made billions from the show. As for the movies, they will follow what happens to Rick after his experience in Sunday's What Comes After episode, where foe-turned-friend Jadis rescues a near-death Rick and accompanies him on a helicopter to an unseen new community while his friends and family believe the former sheriff is dead. Gimple also confirmed Lincoln will indeed be in all three movies, and the key thing here is survive through all three movies. He will not die in this trilogy. So that is about all I have, but like I said, this article goes so in-depth with Scott Gimple asking, like, what we're going to see and everything like that. Of course, he doesn't really give any answers, but check it out if you're interested. So, again, kind of old news, so maybe I won't go as in-depth as I usually would with this one, because a lot of people have already heard this news, and a lot of other people have already talked about it. But anyways, really great news, right? This was something that a lot of Walking Dead fans, if you really were kind of paying attention to the trends here, kind of saw this coming, right? And that whole ending, I have to say, kind of predicted it, right? Or at least kind of thought of it a little bit, before the episode aired and whatever. So I'm really happy with that ending. I think, I don't know, maybe this is a little bit of a rant here, but it really makes me mad seeing all these people out there who, who are saying, and, they might be fans of the show. They might actually watch the show. I don't know. I can't really judge if they watch the show or they're fans or not, right? It's hard to judge. But a lot of people are out there saying, oh, this is another dumpster death, right? Or this is, The Walking Dead did it again or something like that. Like, I just think that's so disrespectful, honestly, to the show. I think that ending for Andrew Lincoln for Rick Grimes was perfect. That was not a dumpster death. AMC saying Rick's final episode, who said that he's dying? Who defined Rick's last episode as Rick's last episode that he dies in? Who said that? AMC never said that. Now, I don't really, I can see some problems with the marketing AMC did. I think ultimately what happened was they didn't think it would actually get out, right? They didn't think this news would actually get out, but it did. So then they kind of, quickly rewinded, right? And then made all this marketing for Rick's final episode because everyone knew already, so why not, capitalize on that news? And so I think that's what ultimately happened. But whoever said that AMC advertising this as Rick's last episode meant he had to die? I didn't get that. I didn't understand that. I didn't interpret it that way. And a lot of people didn't. So saying this is another dumpster death, I think is totally out. I think that's just crazy. I don't agree with that at all. And a lot of people saying that who haven't even seen the show, like, oh, Walking Dead did it again. I'm sorry, but no, that's not what happened. I think it's a perfect ending for Rick. I think it was definitely a better decision than to kill him, because he's such a beloved character. And even if Andrew Lincoln wasn't doing these movies, I think you still have to see him survive so that Andrew Lincoln can at least maybe even do a cameo later in the series or something, right? But I guess he could anyways if Rick died in like a flashback or something. But anyways, I thought it was a perfect ending. I don't think it was a dumpster death at all. They never said that he was going to die, and I think this ending was perfect. So anyways, really great news about the movies in terms of what they might explore. A lot of people have been kind of making some theories about the comic books and maybe some of the Commonwealth storylines that are currently going on. Andrew Lincoln being at the Commonwealth and going through a little bit of that stuff. So we might see that in the movies. It might be a whole new story with all new characters. A lot of people are speculating even if we'll see Jadis, Pollyann McIntosh in the show. Like, she goes with Rick, but that doesn't necessarily mean that she'll be in the movies. And so we'll have to see there, because I don't know that she's already signed on in the movie. I don't think that's been announced, so we may not even see her. But we definitely will see Andrew Lincoln. And it's really interesting, though, that he also announced that he's going to survive through all three of them. Like, he confirmed that, which is weird, right? Like, why would he confirm that? But I think really that does confirm that Andrew Lincoln's going to return to The Walking Dead at some point. And then I think another story came out shortly after this, and Andrew Lincoln, like, in an interview said, "I'm definitely not coming back to The Walking Dead." I don't believe that. Honestly, I don't believe it for a second. I think, say 2 or 3 years down the line, Walking Dead is ending, right? They have a series finale. You're going to tell me that Andrew Lincoln is not going to come back for that series finale for at least one scene? Come on, right? Come on, right? Andrew Lincoln is definitely going to come back. I might be wrong. I don't know. Maybe he is really, hell-bent on this decision that he will not be coming back to the TV series. But I think if he's still willing to do 3 Walking Dead movies and still portray this character, I don't see why he would not come back for at least a cameo in, let's say, the series finale. So, anyways, really great news here. Again, a lot of speculation is going to come for these movies. When are they going to come out? I could honestly, it says production set to begin in 2019. Maybe we might see this in 2019. I don't know, because I see AMC really trying to capitalize on this as soon as possible, right? They don't want 2 or 3 years to pass by before they make an Andrew Lincoln, Rick Grimes movie, right? And so I think they really may actually push this to actually premiere in 2019. So anyways, we'll have to see, but it's at least probably I would argue at least 8 or 9 months away from us right now, because Scott Gimple hasn't even finished the script, so keep that in mind. But anyways, really great news here. Sorry for a little bit of the rant there, but I just wanted to share my thoughts on that one. Let me know what you think of this news, and what do you think of the ending for Season 9, Episode 5? And even if you don't watch the show, like, what kind of buzz have you heard around it? And what kind of news, what kind of reactions have you seen from the episode? I'll talk a little bit about the episode a little bit later, and kind of my really brief thoughts of it, but best episode of The Walking Dead, I think, ever made. Couple things could have been different, but outside of those, I think it was a damn near perfect episode. So, anyways, guys, really great news. Andrew Lincoln to lead 3 Walking Dead movies. I have to say it's a little bit of a surprise, but also a little bit of something that we kind of all predicted. But anyways, we'll have to see. Okay, so on to the next topic here, outside of the Walking Dead and Breaking Bad finally. We're talking now about the Purge. And this has been a pretty big series, actually, so far this fall on USA Network. And, of course, this is the TV shows based off the movies. I think the first movie did really well, and then the last couple movies haven't done that well. I could be totally wrong with that one, but I think that's what's kind of happened. And so they kind of made this into a show, and a lot of people weren't sure if this was going to succeed or not, but it looks like it has. So The Purge renewed for Season 2 at USA. This one's from The Hollywood Reporter as well. A lot of articles from The Hollywood Reporter this week. The Purge will continue for another year on USA. The cable network has picked up a second season of the dystopian thriller based on James DeMonico's movie franchise. The pickup comes just ahead of the show's first season finale on Tuesday night. So I think this was this news from Monday, maybe? Maybe. USA Network is so proud to be the television home for the iconic franchise The Purge, said President Chris Mucumber. The partnership and creative trust of Jason Blum, who's executive producer, and everyone at Blumhouse Television and Universal Pictures ensured The Purge's successful transition from film to TV. We look forward to digging even deeper into mythology in Season 2. The Purge has performed well for USA and is currently the cabler's top-rated drama series. It is averaging 2.3 million viewers, 1.2 million of whom are adults, 18 to 49, which is a 0.9 rating, with 7 days of delayed viewing. Sorry, so these ratings are delayed viewers, not live viewers. So, still pretty damn good. USA Network, those are pretty good numbers. 2.3 million viewers. Live viewers would be really good numbers, but even delayed viewers are still pretty damn good numbers for USA Network. So I think this is really great news. I know my buddy the Televisionary, big fan of this. Well, at least of The Purge. I think he really likes the show as well. He tweets out some stuff about it as well. So anyways, I think this is great news for the USA Network. Again, I think a lot of people were kind of maybe divided on this and wasn't sure if this was going to work in a TV series and all that. But I haven't checked it out, so got to put that disclaimer out there. But I think for season 2, I'm not sure. I thought they were talking about an anthology type of series with this one, so I'll have to see if that's what they do in season 2 or it's a continued story. Again, I'm not exactly too knowledgeable on it, but I thought that's what was happening. I thought when it first came out, they were saying it's an anthology type of thing, because the movies are an anthology, right? Like, the movies are different, a different story each time. And I'm not sure if they have different characters or not, but it's like a whole different story. So, anyways, I think this is great, and I think the potential for this series is also through the roof. I mean, they can do all different types of locations, I believe, the different characters for each season. So, or if they just keep the same story, again, they can do all these different things, different locations, add different new characters, add different new storylines. So, some really great stuff here for USA Network. Some really a really great show for the fall so far for USA Network's cabler's top-rated drama series currently. So really great stuff for the Purge, man, and a lot of people fans of the show and have been checking it out. So happy to see it. Happy to see that it's kind of translated from film to TV, and we've seen this success. And maybe this sparks some other film franchises to move to TV. We know Lord of the Rings is coming on Amazon. Who knows when? But I think it was Amazon. They spent $500 million just for the rights of that show. Just for the rights. So they're probably, or was it closer to $1 billion? I can't remember, but it was something crazy like that. So to be honest, I mean, Amazon Prime, I don't know when we're gonna see that. Maybe 2020. But again, that was the Lord of the Rings movie franchise moving now to television. So I think this may even be starting a streak now with The Purge as well, in seeing more movie franchises moving to TV, because TV is where it's at right now. I mean, we see all these movie actors and actresses now going to TV. You get Amy Adams in Sharp Objects. Just this fall, we get Julia Roberts in Homecoming, and we get what's her name? Is it Julia Roberts? Yeah, Julia Roberts in Homecoming, and then the other actress in Camping on HBO. I forget who that is. I get Julia Roberts and her confused all the time. Anyways, I can't remember at this time. But anyways, we got all these actors and actresses from movies coming to TV. And then now even we got the franchises coming to TV. So TV is where it's at right now. And that's, again, why you see all these streaming services too. I mean, it's crazy. So will this be, kind of maybe a start of something here for movie franchise moving to TV? Maybe. Another successful one is definitely going to draw some future ones. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think of that one. And if you've been watching The Purge Season 1, what do you think of it? I know a lot of people who have watched it have really liked it. So anyways, let me know your thoughts of that one. Alright, so on to the next piece of news here. And this one's actually really cool for me. Because I have to say, this show was one of the first shows I really kind of checked out and got really interested in, and actually I would even call maybe binge watched. This is one of the first shows. So the 4400 reboot in development at the CW, and this one's from Variety. This one, it came out 2004, and of course I didn't watch it in 2004, but this was one of the first shows I really was interested in. I really kind of binge watched, and I really think that this show was, I would argue ahead of its time. I think a lot of shows really used the same format as the 4400 did. And I know, whether or not the 4400 was necessarily the first show to use that type of format on network television, obviously that's arguable. But I think it was one of the first who used that format. And a lot of shows you see now are using that same format. You even see now Manifest, the most recent successful show this fall on network television. It uses a lot of the same techniques and format from the 4400 and what they did in 2004, right? So we're 14 years later. Well, I think it ended in 2007. So, argument's sake, okay, we'll use, what is that? 10 years later. Manifest is still using the same, and they're really successful. So I think the 4400 deserves a lot of credit. I think, not a lot of people have checked it out necessarily, maybe. But I think it really does deserve to be checked out. Of course, the series finale though is really up in the air, and I think it was ultimately canceled, the show. And so that's why a lot of people are really unhappy with that. So anyways, Variety has learned that the CW is developing a reboot of the USA Network series The 4400. The reboot hails from CBS Television Studios, which produced the original series when it was still known as CBS Paramount Network Television. The project is being shepherded by Taylor Elmore and Craig Sweeney, both of whom are under overall deals at the studio. Elmore and Sweeney will co-write the pilot for the reboot and executive produce, with Elmore set to serve as showrunner should the project indeed move forward. The original version of the 4400 was created by Renee Echeverria and Scott Peters. It featured actors like Joel Gretsch, Jacqueline McKenzie, Conchita Campbell, and also served as an early starring vehicle for Oscar winner Mahershala Ali. I say that word. I say that name wrong every time. I'm pretty sure a lot of people do. But anyways, it ran for 4 seasons and 44 episodes on USA from 2004 to 2007. Sweeney previously served as a writer and supervising producer on the original version of the 4400. So I thought that was cool to include that the guy who's responsible for this reboot was actually a writer as well for the original. So I think that's awesome that he's bringing that expertise that he had back in the original one to a new rebooted version. So it sounds like they're writing the script for the pilot, and they're going to be producing this pilot, and then we're going to see if it moves forward at the CW and they give it a series order or what have you. So anyways, I really like this news. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with it, right? Are they going to start from the very beginning? A lot of people, well, not a lot of people, because, I guess this isn't huge news for, a lot of people now, but some people are saying, it might be kind of a sequel, prequel, something, right? They have so much potential with this reboot. I mean, and maybe they just follow the exact same story with the same type of characters, different cast, obviously, a little bit of different writing, and maybe they just mainly follow the same, story. That could be possible too. So I just really am marveling at the potential they have for this reboot and what they're going to decide to do. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the pilot. Of course, it's still, developing. So again, maybe 2019 we'll see this. We'll see a pilot maybe 2019, maybe summer of 2019. I'm not sure if they're actually done the script for the pilot or not. Or no, it says will co-write, so it looks like they haven't even maybe started. But I think they definitely have some ideas in mind if they've been, kind of granted that by the CW. But again, some people are unhappy with this because the CW, they have that kind of format. They have that, kind of characteristics of their shows, of every show on the CW, that they kind of throw into it. They kind of put their own spin on shows. You have Riverdale. You have, all these, the Flash, I think, Arrow, they have those, the superhero ones on there too, and the originals, Vampire Diaries, and all those. So, anyways, they tend to put their own spin on shows, and that might happen with this one. So we'll have to see ultimately if they kind of make it out to be more of like a love story than maybe or at least like stuff like that in it more than what the original was. Maybe, and is that going to make it worse? I don't know. I mean, if it's good enough, I think it's going to put a pretty nice new spin or new fresh spin on the show. So, anyways, fans of the 4400, if you watched it, let me know what you think of this news. Crazy news to have it rebooted, 11 years later after the show ended, which is pretty sad. I mean, for the ending, and a lot of fans really were not happy with this ending back in even 2007 when they canceled the show. Or I think it was canceled, but either way, the series finale not very satisfying for fans. And so I think 11 years is a little too long to wait to kind of reboot this show. But anyways, overall, I think it's going to be great. Of course, there's going to be more and more announcements coming out in the near future, I would assume, for, them, penning the pilot, and then also the cast who are signing on to do the pilot and all that stuff. So anyways, I'm really looking forward to it, and I really am confident in it as well, because knowing that an original writer will be serving as the possible showrunner if it gets greenlit. So I think that's an important thing too. It's not just a new guy who doesn't know anything, right? It's a guy who was part of the original one. So anyways, guys, some really great news there with the 4400 reboot on the CW, and I'm looking forward to it. So let me know what you think of that one. All right, so now on to the next one here. This one's from the Hollywood Reporter as well. The Kids Are All Right receives full season order. So I'm a little bit surprised by this, but thankful. I'm actually, you know, this news is pretty good. I'm actually, you know, pretty happy with this news. And I think it's actually, you know, I think it's definitely deserved. You know, don't get me wrong. So anyways, let's get into this one. The Kids Are All Right receives full season order. AMC comedies The Kids Are All Right and Splitting Up Together will be sticking around longer this season. So this article is ultimately highlighting both shows. The two shows got full season pickups from the network on Wednesday. Sources tell the Hollywood Reporter that The Kids Are All Right will get 9 extra episodes for a traditional full season of 22. ABC has also ordered more episodes of the comedy Single Parents and the drama A Million Little Things, meaning all of its first-year scripted shows will go beyond their initial orders. So we've been talking about NBC doing really well so far with Manifest and New Amsterdam and a couple of their shows, but ABC is doing pretty damn well too. This fall has been, you know, pretty great for a lot of networks here. A lot of people are not very happy with the Connors. A lot of stuff going on with that with ABC, but besides that, a lot of their shows doing really well, and to hear that all of their shows are getting increased orders, that's pretty damn impressive. So anyways, some really great stuff there. The Kids Are All Right performed solidly over the first 3 episodes. The ABC Studios show from creator Tim Doyle is now the #2 rated new comedy of the fall, only behind The Connors, averaging a 1.5 rating among adults 18-49 after 3 days of delayed viewing. It draws in 6.7 million viewers after the 3-day live viewing. So pretty good numbers there. I mean, for a new comedy, a lot of people kind of criticize this one as, you know, we've seen this before. This is just a remake of the Goldbergs or something like that, right? A lot of comparisons. But I checked this one out because I'm a huge fan of Walking Dead, and Michael Cudlitz is in this one. Had to give him some credit, right? Had to check it out. Even though I didn't know much about it, I checked it out and did my review on the channel. It's also up on the channel if you're interested. You haven't checked this one out, I suggest it. It's a 20-minute pilot, only 20 minutes of your time, and I think you'll definitely laugh. I think it's some fun. I think it's just a fun comedy, and I really like the way that they are doing it to attract different generations, right? They're basing it in the 70s, but it's kind of being told in the modern aspect of things, in the modern perspective. So some really great stuff there, intertwining some generations and intertwining some different themes as well in the show. And so anyway, some really great stuff here. 6.7 million viewers with the 3-day live viewing. That's pretty damn good, right? That's pretty damn good for ABC and a new comedy. You know, that's pretty good. So anyways, to hear ABC's success here, pretty cool stuff. And I'm happy for Michael Cudlitz and the rest of the cast of The Kids Are All Right. Again, 22 episodes. Now again, important to remember, this doesn't mean that they're going to get a season 2, right? This means that they have now got a full season order. So we'll have to see the future of this one and see if it does get a season 2. I think if you were to look at the chances, I mean, obviously their chances are higher now that they got the full season order. But again, we'll have to see. Nothing is for sure. Nothing's confirmed. And so we'll have to see what happens. But anyways, I'm really happy. I think they deserve a lot of credit for developing this one, and ABC, I think, made the right call in giving them a full season order. I think they ultimately deserved it. So anyways, guys, some really great news here for ABC. The Kids Are All Right, and again, I really suggest you check it out. I think there are 3 episodes in now, so the 4th one will be this week. And now we got, 18 more episodes to go. So that's going to be awesome. I wonder when they're going to do a split. Are they going to take time in between the 13th and 14th episode now? To kind of, obviously, because they don't have these episodes produced yet. So I'll have to see, how they do that, and if they do take a break or not. We'll have to see that as well. So anyways, guys, some great news here. Again, check it out if you haven't already. All right, so now let's get to the last topic of news for today's episode. And this one is from the Hollywood Reporter again. Honestly, it's like the Hollywood Reporter show, I guess. But anyways, so David Simon's new fascism drama is a go at HBO. So it's kind of, a play on words there, because HBO streaming service, I believe it's HBO Go. I think. I don't know. I think that's what I thought it was. But anyways, maybe purposely. Anyways, so some interesting news here nonetheless. I mean, nothing, immediately interesting, but I think some interesting news that I wanted to share. So I love this first, the way to start it. David Simon is now going from porn to politics for HBO, right? So with The Deuce, which is the porn show they're working on right now, heading into its final season next year, Simon will next adapt Philip Roth's novel The Plot Against America as a 6-episode miniseries for the premium cable network he has called home for more than 2 decades. The Plot Against America, imagine it's in a and let me know if you've read this book, by the way. It's apparently a very popular book. The Plot Against America imagines an alternate American history told through the eyes of a working-class Jewish family in New Jersey as they watch the political rise of Charles Lindbergh, an aviator, hero, and xenophobic populist who becomes president and turns the nation toward fascism. Simon and longtime collaborator Ed Burns from The Wire and Generation Kill, and I believe he with him on Treme as well, so really great 2 minds there, will co-write the script and executive produce. The Plot Against America becomes Simon's latest foray for HBO following The Wire, The Deuce, Treme, The Corner, and Show Me a Hero. I mean, like 2 of those shows are in some people's top 5 shows of all time. Treme and The Wire, so that and people think The Wire is the best show ever made. So, anyways, and The Deuce is getting a lot of critical acclaim as well right now. So, anyways, David Simon's a genius. He's amazing. So you talk about Vince Gilligan, I think you also got to talk about David Simon. But anyways, the HBO miniseries arrives a month after Amazon released the 3rd season of the drama The Man in the High Castle, which is based on Philip K. Dick's alternate history in which the U.S. lost World War II and the country is extremely divided. And that's since now been renewed for a season 4 by Amazon. So I just thought I'd throw that last thing in there because I think it's really interesting, right? Is this actually a way of HBO even competing with Amazon? Now, of course, this is a miniseries. It'll only be a 6-episode miniseries for HBO. So, obviously it's not going to compete with a 4-season-long show on Amazon. But I think it's definitely some interesting, and I think they're tapping on, obviously, a genre, or at least an area of interest for people. Because I think it's very interesting. A lot of people, go towards these, alternate universe, and that's a lot of shows kind of based around that. And I think this is an extreme alternate universe, right? That would obviously have, huge consequences. I mean, the world would be totally different, right, if this happens. So I think this is really interesting to explore. And again, I've heard the book is amazing, and it, I guess it was New York Times bestseller or whatever, right? So it's a great book. So to see that it's being adapted now is great, and I don't think there's one single guy who's better than to adapt this novel and do a good job at it than David Simon. So, anyways, really great to hear, and we'll see if it is as successful as Amazon. We'll see. Maybe they will be competing for this kind of alternate universe, World War II kind of stuff here, and we'll have to see. So, anyways, guys, some interesting news here again. Not really immediate news because it's just been kind of greenlit now. So I think David Simon will then work on writing the script. So I wonder if George Pelecanos then will focus on The Deuce Season 3 because David Simon's going to be kind of detached from that a little bit to work on this project. Or maybe this one will be delayed until the end of The Deuce. I don't know. But we'll have to see what happens with that. I could see him kind of passing the torch on George Pelecanos to finish off Season 3, but we'll have to see. I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe this is really just advanced news, and this is only going to come down the pipe, a year from now. Right? Maybe HBO is just locking them up for now. But anyways, some really great news. Anything coming from David Simon, I think is worth checking out. And I think this is going to be an interesting show. So anyways, guys, that'll just about do it for all the news this week in this episode. Now I'll just quickly touch on my weekly notables from this week in television. And of course, let me know your thoughts on, all or any of that news any of the things I talked about, I'd love to hear your thoughts discussing, discussion of that, questions, comments, all that stuff. Love to hear it. So anyways, my weekly notables are pretty narrow, I have to say, this week, because one episode made it for me. My notable episode from this week in television is The Walking Dead Season 9, Episode 5, What Comes After. So I watched, I think it was like 3 or 4 episodes this week of television. This one, I had to put it as, above all these other ones, because this episode, I believe, I really have to go back. I may have to do another rewatch of The Walking Dead to really maybe appreciate or get the full understanding of this episode in the grand scheme of things. But this may have been the best episode ever made for The Walking Dead. Not just Rick leaving, but all the things they did in this one. I was arguing before that they should have just had the whole runtime be Rick. No, I got to backtrack on that one, because I think all the other elements of this episode were great. I mean, that scene with Maggie and Negan in this one, that was maybe one of the best scenes of the episode. And so some really great stuff here in this episode. And again, worth noting, Scott Gimple co-wrote this episode. So just to kind of trigger some Walking Dead fans. But anyways, they hear the name Scott Gimple, they freak out. But yeah. So anyways, really, really great episode. And honestly, may have been the best of the series. So anyways, my notable performance, pretty obvious. I got to give to Andrew Lincoln, of course, from The Walking Dead, Season 9, Episode 5. He was amazing, and, this is, again, more of a kind of symbolic one, of course, but he also gave a great performance in this episode, maybe one of his best performances of the 9 years of The Walking Dead. Of course, he gave some pretty damn good performances, with Carl getting shot the first time was, I would argue, some of his best acting. I think in Season 5, Season 6 area, he was very, very good. And I'm not saying, like, the other areas of the show he was not good. I'm just saying, like, he was, heightened at these points in the show in terms of acting. So, anyways, this was, I would say, maybe one of his best performances in an episode of the show. And he needed to give that in his last episode, and he definitely came through. Exceeded expectations in this one. So, anyways, Andrew Lincoln gets my notable performance nod from this week. Pretty obvious stuff. Had to give it to him. But nonetheless, there you go. So, anyways, after this episode, I'm really looking forward to the rest of The Walking Dead Season 9. And I think this show, maybe a lot of people might not agree with me, but I think you can get at least 2 or 3 more seasons of The Walking Dead after what they decide to do with this episode and with the, future of The Walking Dead. I think it all lies. Angela Kang did a great job in Season 9, and we'll have to see what she has kind of up her sleeve. And, obviously Scott Gimple is still kind of her supervisor in a way, what he has up his sleeve with these movies and how they will connect as well. So, really exciting time for Walking Dead fans, and, last 2 years haven't been the greatest. A lot of fans will admit that, including me, hasn't been the greatest, but I think we are now at a point where The Walking Dead is going to be, not necessarily back, but it may even be better than it was. Like, this is a kind of a whole new Walking Dead, and I think it's going to be awesome. So, anyways, guys, if you see The Walking Dead, let me know what you thought. Also, put out a reaction video. I put out a little, kind of a, theory prediction video, and then also my review of the episode, of course. So, I don't know. I've been uploading a couple of those in the last couple of weeks for The Walking Dead. We'll see. I'm not sure if I'll keep uploading those, but I enjoy doing them. So anyways, let me know what you think of those ones. Check them out if you haven't already. So anyways, guys, that'll just about do it for this episode of Let's Talk Television. Again, appreciate those of you who tuned in live for this episode. Of course, appreciate you guys who tuned in afterwards. So anyways, guys, that'll just about do it. Some big news for this episode this week. Breaking Bad movie, Andrew Lincoln's movies, the 4400 reboot, and much more. This is a great time for television fans, and 2019 is shaping up to be one hell of a year, I have to say, with all this news coming out and all this potential series, movies dropping. Like, 2019 and 2020 are going to be crazy years for television fans, so it's going to be awesome. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching this one. We'll see you next week for Let's Talk Television. Hopefully we'll have, just as much news and just as interesting news next week to talk about. But anyways, guys, again, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, guys. See you later.